Question number 7, Kelvin Davis.
To the Minister of Corrections, does he have confidence in his department's management of Phillip Smith?
The Honourable Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Mr Speaker, I have confidence in the department, but mistakes have been made in the Smith case, and I'm not happy that they were made. The recent review into this incident has given us 13 recommendations to improve temporary releases, and the department is adopting all of them. As Minister, I will be keeping a close eye on their implementation.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
How did the Department of Corrections allow a prisoner out for 74 hours without electronic monitoring when the parole board had found a year earlier, quote, that prisoner Smith remains at high risk of posing a serious danger to the community, unquote?
The Honourable Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Mr Speaker, the review shows that Mr Smith's release plan was misinformed, and as a result, monitoring was inadequate. And as a result of the review, it is now the default position for GPS to be used for all prisoners on temporary release.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
How can he continue to have confidence in the Department of Corrections when they allowed Phillip Smith, while incarcerated, to obtain a passport in his original name, which was used in his escape?
The Honourable Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Mr Speaker, the retrieval of the passport was a legitimate request by Mr Smith. It will be covered, sir, in the interagency inquiry that has been announced by Minister Bennett.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
How can the Minister say that the passport was a legitimate request?
The Honourable Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Mr Speaker, I'm not responsible for the processing of passports, sir, but it's not my responsibility, sir.
Speaker.
Point of order,
I was
Kelvin.
referring to the previous response that the Minister had made.
I accept the member was, and he certainly made those comments in the early answer where the member asked how can he have confidence when this particular gentleman was able to get a passport through the process, and the Minister's response said that he'd got it through a legitimate process or words to that effect. You've then taken the opportunity to raise a legitimate supplementary, which the Minister has chosen to answer in that way by saying he's not responsible for that part. That is a satisfactory answer to the question. I invite the member to continue with his
Supplementary, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
Does the Minister believe that interdepartmental communications relating to prisoner release visits is adequate? If not, why has the Department of Corrections failed to put forward any recommendations to correct that?
The Honourable Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Sir, the review was to determine what happened in the Phillip Smith absconding from the country in terms of the release on temporary release. The review did not cover the matter in which the member is asking about.
Point of order, Chris Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, the question had nothing to do with the review.
Order. I can make fast progress on this by asking Mr Davis to repeat his question for the benefit of the Minister.
Does the Minister believe that interdepartmental communications relating to prisoner release visits is adequate? If not, why has the Department of Corrections failed to put forward any recommendations to correct that?
The Honourable Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Sir, the issue of cross-agency cooperation is being covered by the ministerial inquiry, which was commissioned by Minister Bennett.
Point of order, Chris Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, there was a very clear question to the Minister as to whether he regarded it as sufficient. He could say that he is waiting the outcome, but simply saying that it's being covered by a review is not an answer.
Order. There's now been two answers to the question. Effectively what the Minister's saying, that the review will sort it out. The Minister's responsible for his answer, not me. I've got to decide whether he's addressed the question on this occasion. I think he has. I clearly accept it's not to the satisfaction of members to my left. Further supplementary? Question number 8, Simon.